Do you feel a familiar pit of dread in your stomach when you see your child shrink away in sullen silence when another child takes their toy or their turn? Do you notice yourself having thoughts like, why can't they just stand up for themselves? You tell yourself they need to be strong. They need to be tough to survive. But then when they try to assert themselves, you see the adult world pushing back. This constant push-pull of wanting your child to be safe, yet also knowing you want them to be heard, is exhausting and often leaves you feeling confused, not knowing how to help your child navigate their world. Welcome back to Project Parenthood. I'm your host, Dr. Nanika Coor. Each week I'll help you raise kids in ways that are compassionate, respectful, anti-oppressive, and grounded in connection and community. Today, I'm unpacking the practice of teaching your child to self-advocate, which is the essential skill of identifying and respectfully expressing needs, interests, and rights. Before I dive in, take a moment to notice what came up for you just hearing the topic. Did your shoulders tighten? Did you remember a painful moment from your own childhood when you couldn't speak up? Just observe whatever sensation, thought, or memory is present for you right now, without judgment. Bring open, benevolent curiosity to whatever is alive for you. This awareness of your own internal landscape is where self-advocacy begins. Let's get into it. When your child struggles to self-advocate, it might look like them becoming passive, saying yes to things they clearly don't want to do, or maybe sometimes defaulting to using aggression, yelling, or pushing when they feel unheard. You can worry that they're either too timid to thrive in a competitive world or too aggressive to maintain positive relationships. Your reactive thoughts flip from, they're gonna let everyone walk all over them, to, they'll never make or keep any friends if they act like that. You find yourself instantly intervening, speaking for your child, which can feel necessary at times, but then you worry that they'll think that their own voice is less capable than yours. For parents from historically marginalized backgrounds, on the one hand, you know firsthand that for your child to speak up means they might risk being perceived as defiant, ungrateful, or too emotional, and that this might mean they're penalized more harshly based on race, gender, or ability, so you step in to protect them. But you also really want them to own their voice and feel they have agency. The cycle of anxiety and over-intervention is keeping you both stuck. Your child's passive compliance or aggressive outbursts are simply unskilled ways they're trying to get their needs met. The deeper roots of these communication challenges is usually a lack of self-awareness and then validation of that internal experience. Your child needs to be able to successfully answer, what do I need? And how do I feel when that need goes unmet? How do I feel when my need is met? Before they can effectively ask for support. Consider these deeper factors that might be influencing your child's ability to speak up. There's emotional invalidation. If when your child expresses an internal state like, I'm not tired after a big day, or I'm still hungry right after dinner, you usually dismiss or correct them. For example, no, you're not, you just ate. You inadvertently teach them that their internal experience is unreliable or wrong. This directly undermines the foundation of self-awareness. There are also systemic expectations. Many environments, from school to public spaces, are designed around a white, neurotypical, able-bodied standard. When your neurodivergent or non-white or non-able-bodied child needs a break, accommodations, or simply a different way of learning or behaving, the system often interprets their needs as non-compliance or a bad parenting problem. Without the language to explain their specific needs, their only remaining option is often disruptive behavior or total shutdown. There also might be a lack of explicit skill building. Self-advocacy is not an innate skill. It has to be taught. The ability to use clear, respectful, assertive communication, the vital middle ground between passive and aggressive reactions, requires explicit, practiced tools like using I statements. If your child hasn't been taught this language, they can only really rely on instinct, which often manifests as yelling or retreating. This is why a respectful parenting lens is so crucial. If you validate the feeling first, you support the necessary self-knowledge. When your child says, "I'm annoyed because my friend took the toy I was playing with," their core need is for their thoughts and feelings to be heard and understood. If you rush in to fix the situation, punish their tone, or dismiss their emotions, you may miss the opportunity to teach them that their feelings are valid and that their boundaries matter. Respectful, collaborative engagement is what wires the brain for a sense of self-worth, as well as effective communication. The shift from controlling outcomes to supporting your child's self-advocacy is a profound move toward liberation for both of you. Here are 3 practical, actionable tools you can use starting today to help your child find their powerful, authentic voice. Number 1, prioritize building a vocabulary for internal states. This can look like practicing daily check-ins. Instead of focusing on behavior, focus on feelings and sensations. At the dinner table or before bed, ask, "How's your body feeling right now?" Or, "What was the strongest emotion you had today?" Let's say they say anger. What lets you know you're feeling anger? You might give them a menu. Thoughts, sensations, images, or memories are letting you know that you feel angry. At the dinner table or before bed, ask, "How's your body feeling right now?" Or, "What was the strongest emotion you had today?" And then, let's say they say anger. You might say, "What lets you know that you're feeling anger?" What thoughts or sensations, images, or memories let you know that angry is what you're feeling? For young children, use pictures of faces depicting different emotions, or feeling wheels to give them visual language for internal states. This continuous practice helps them begin to link their emotions and other internal experiences. Another way that you can help your children build a vocabulary for internal states is to narrate your own boundaries. Model the skill that you want to see. When you're depleted, say out loud, "I feel overwhelmed when there's so much noise, and I need a few minutes of quiet to regulate my system. I'm going to sit down now." This narration demonstrates that personal limits are valid and can be shared respectfully with verbal expression, and that needs spoken aloud can often be met. Number 2, you can teach assertive communication scripts. One way to do that is use I statements. You can explicitly teach your child this formula. I feel, in the blank, that will be a certain emotion when another blank thing happens, when something happens. I need X, so I'd like Y to happen next. Role play simple scenarios. You might say, "I feel frustrated when you take my turn. I need playtime to be fair, so I'd like to have the next turn." This structure prevents blaming and focuses the conversation on a solvable problem. Another way to teach assertive communication is to validate the need and reteach the tone. When your child is dysregulated and yells, "Go away," which is a boundary they're trying to set but in an aggressive way, validate the need for space immediately. "You need your space. I hear that." Later, when they're calm, revisit the moment and offer the assertive language. Next time you need quiet, you can say, "Mama, I need a break now, please." Separate the valid need from the messy execution. The third thing you can do is embed boundary respect in your everyday life. So that looks like respecting their no. Respect your child's right to refusal, like saying no to a hug from a well-meaning relative, or no to eating a food they dislike, or no to discussing a topic now instead of a later agreed-upon time. By honoring their limits in these low-stakes situations, you build the foundation of self-trust that they'll need to enforce boundaries in higher-stakes situations later in life. You can also offer genuine choices. So only offer choices you can fully agree to. Do you want to wear the blue shirt or the red shirt? Allowing your child to choose and then upholding that choice validates their agency and teaches them that their voice holds meaningful impact, reinforcing their capacity for self-determination. Try focusing on integrating just one of these tools into your communication over the next few days. So now just take a deep breath and notice what sensations might have arisen as you considered these tools. Did you feel a familiar sense of inadequacy or a flush of shameful heat, the one that tells you that you should be doing more as a parent? If so, simply turn toward that feeling with acceptance. What's that reaction trying to tell you about your own unmet needs? Can you radically accept that this is a developing skill for you too, without needing to change or judge that initial reaction? The goal isn't perfection, but just curious observation. See, the goal of respectful parenting isn't to raise a child who never struggles, but one who knows their worth and has the tools to navigate struggles with integrity. Your compassionate presence in the face of their difficulty is the most powerful resource you can offer. By validating their internal life and explicitly teaching them assertive language, you're not just raising a child who can speak up for themselves, you're raising a person who understands that they can ask for what they need while respecting the needs of others, and who's capable to contribute to creating environments that are truly respectful and equitable for everyone. You're doing transformative work simply by showing up and trying. So if you found this episode helpful, I'd love it if you shared it with a friend who might worry about their child being perceived as a pushover or too bossy. Remember that you're not the only one. Parenting isn't meant to be a solo project. Your fellow listeners are all learning, unlearning, and reimagining too, building communities where both children and parents get to advocate for their authentic needs. How's your family shifting your communications patterns after hearing this episode? Let me know. You can contact me via Instagram at bkparents or via my email at parenthood@quickanddirtytips.com. If you're feeling alone in your parenting journey, head to my website at brooklynparenttherapy.com, where you can join my newsletter to learn about upcoming community parent events. I'm Dr. Nanika Coor. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you next week. Project Parenthood is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast. Thanks to the team, audio engineer Dan Firebend, Holly Hutchings, Director of Podcasts, Advertising Operations Specialist Morgan Christensen, Marketing Manager Rebecca Sebastian, and thanks also to our contractor, Nat Hoops.